for any fresh blood. It's been quite a relaxing afternoon, really.
Give it up for Dan Starkie, ladies and gentlemen. Dan. We want this one? Here we go.
Hello, there we go.
There he is.
Right.
Dan!
Hello.
All right, have you been enjoying your weekend?
Yes, it's been very nice, thank you. Yes.
This is your first time in New York doing a convention, or no?
No, I had a little pub meet about 2 years ago with a few York people, which I think some people I've met were there. But yeah, that was just a little evening, but not a full-on convention in New York. So it's
Great. Have you been enjoying the weekend so far?
Yes, it's been lovely. Yeah, there have been lots of interesting panels and meeting lots of interesting people. Everyone seems pleased to see me, so that's nice.
Are we pleased to see Dan?
Thank you very much.
Let's get into it. I want to talk about early days in acting before, but you know what? How about we talk about your awareness of Doctor Who as a child?
Okay. Yeah.
And were the Suntarans on your radar back then?
Oh yes. Well, I got into it when I was very, very small, about 3 or 4 or so, and I remember Tom Baker's last few stories. So it would have been The Keeper of Traken and Legopolis, and then at the end of Legopolis, Tom Baker turned into Peter Davis, and that was astonishing. And then, because Tom Baker had been the Doctor for so long, there was a whole generation of children in the UK who didn't realise that the Doctor could be different people. So the BBC did a repeat season, because bizarrely, from all the places in the world that Doctor Who had shown, the BBC never used to repeat it as well. Because I thought, why would you want to watch old episodes of Doctor Who? That's good, you've got no interest in it. But they did a repeat season called The 5 Faces of Doctor Who, and seeing that when I was about 4 years old, that absolutely hooked me. So like seeing, I don't know, The Child and sort of the Crotons, and I think it was the 3 Doctors or something. This idea that you had this character who could be different people in different times, and I pestered my mum and dad, so like going, why is Doctor Who like this? Why is he changing? How is he got us? And they sort of got, yes. And then I sort of watched Peter Davis's first series, and I was absolutely hooked. And eventually they bought me various Doctor Who books just to shut me up. And answer the questions, they sort of went, yeah, he's in space or something. You know. But now the fact that it's my job is just a very strange kind of, it's wonderful. And I was back at my folks' house a couple of years ago, clearing out cardboard boxes from the attic, and I found a whole stash of my drawings, which, through a process of archaeology, must have been from about 1986. In fact, there were lots of ones of Colin Baker, but none of Sylvester McCoy. And then one of the pictures was actually of a Sontaran. So, yeah, so I was aware of them, and...
I've seen it.
Yes.
You couldn't fit the word, you were so excited to draw the picture of the Sontaran, you couldn't fit the word Sontaran in it as a title, so when Son-Tar-An.
Yes. Innovative in graphics, even then.
Good stuff. So actually being inspired by seeing a character can change faces and have different personalities, did that inspire the acting bug, as it were?
I suppose what acting really sort of crept up on me. I mean, when I was a child, I was much more literal minded than that. I wanted to be a scientist, and I wanted to invent a time machine. And I was very interested. I wanted to be a scientist until I was about 12, 13 or so, and I was still interested in it. But sort of like when I started doing science in secondary school, it was a lot more prosaic than I was expecting. But I think I started doing plays at school, and it kind of crept up on me really. That sort of not only did I enjoy doing it, but I was quite good at it, and I took it more seriously than everybody else did. So it was a funny thing that crept up on me. But even then, it took me a long time to actually sort of go, right, okay, this is what I want to do.
So studying at Cambridge.
Yes, and I studied at Cambridge, and there's a big acting scene there as well. But again, because I did a very academic degree, I ended up not doing quite as much acting as I was expecting. So I eventually went to drama school when I was 27, so I had a bit of a break in between university and actually sort of training, for a profession. So yeah.
Bristol Vic as well.
The Bristol Vic Theatre School. Yes. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So you're very well aware of the classic Sontarans.
Yes.
If anyone's are we a fan of classic series Sontarans? Anyone? That being said, you can't deny the power of Kevin Lindsay's performance.
Oh, absolutely. That is absolutely the locus classicus of the Sontarans. That's when I was auditioning for the first time I played the Sontarans. I went back to my folks' house, same antic, and found my VHS copy of The Time Warrior, which I got for probably Christmas when I was about 12 or 13 or something, and then I rewatched that. And that was the one that I based my performance on sort of most. And it's interesting how, in that first episode, when they were bringing the Sontarans back, the director had some quite specific ideas as to sort of like, I don't want them with a threatening monster voice talking very slowly like this. They want it just to be swift, business-like, and so it was interesting seeing those kind of, you've got a homage to the past, and then but we're reinventing it for a new age. And then because I was on the second fiddle Sontaran in that one, then obviously I was following in Chris Ryan's shadow as well, slightly as well, because he was General Star, he was my superior.
Were you a Young Ones fan?
Yeah, I remember the Young Ones when I was young. Yes. Like a cool person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So, because coming into it was definitely I think, the classic series-wise, the Prodigal Sontaran.
Yeah.
I just felt like the other Sontarans that went on to Invasion of Time.
Yeah.
The two doctors seemed to wane a bit.
Yes.
They weren't even hiring the right actors to fit in the costume.
No, well, the Invasion of Time, it's very strange because the first Sontaran, Lynx, and Kevin, he's got quite a posh voice. He almost sounds like a member of the royal family with a bad throat. And then the Invasion of Time, where it gets a lot more proletarian, and also, I will duff you up some chronic time, Lord.
Cockney Sontaran.
Yes, Cockney Sontaran, which is very strange. And then by the time you got the two doctors, it's very weird, even though it's got Sontarans in it, it's not really a Sontaran story. It's a very odd story. But they're sort of like, over about 6 foot tall, and they're so huge.
And they're skinny.
And they're skinny, yes.
And cannibalism.
Yeah.
Strange. But still. So now let's talk about the modern Sontarans. What came about you getting the role? When we talk about the role, that your first Sontaran in the Sontaran strategy.
Yes, on the score, yes. Well, it was fortunate timing, just because I'd been having a chat with my agent a couple of weeks before, so I was going, it's my birthday coming up. I'd love to be on Doctor Who as a present, that'd be fantastic. And not that I had any prior intelligence or whatever, but I think that just coincided with when they were bringing the Sontarans back. And I think having cast Chris Ryan, he's even smaller than I am, and they had made a full body cast of him to actually do the suit. So as a result, they had a quite specific set of parameters as to how tall the actors would be who would actually have to fit into these one-size-fits-all rubber suits. So I got a look in that way, and then I read along with lots of other people for the part. But it was that whole sort of thing of turning up to the audition and sort of going, so do you know Doctor Who? Do you watch it? It's like, yes, I have watched it for years. And it was that thing of, I feel like I've done about 30-odd years worth of research before going into it, just through playing in the playground and so having it sort of percolate into my brain. And I did 2 reads of it, because usually you've got in this case you had the producer there, the director of the episode, and the casting director who got you in. And first read was quite a straight read, I'm a proper actor and I can do acting. And the director said, that's really good, we're giving different emotions and that sort of thing, that's interesting. Then the producer, Susie Liggett, said, can you make him a bit more, alien? Yeah. So, and this goes on, okay, how far can I go with this? And so I was is this better? And then luckily it wasn't embarrassing and they liked it. So, but it's a case in point. I think this is a very useful thing with any kind of audition that I go into. If I knew then how much I'd still be, in New York, 8 years later, talking about it, and the fact that Doctor Who's taken me around the world and it's become this global phenomenon, I don't think I would have been able to function at all on the day. So because just the nerves would have impinged on my head. But it's just something you can only do as good as you can on that day. Go into the room, just breathe, try and enjoy it, and then try and make friends with people. And that's the only way you can treat those sorts of things.
Before we get into how that is the impetus of digital extracts and whatnot, we've seen the clip of the makeup, which is a lovely clip.
Yes.
You're asked that all the time. So
yes,
It's kind of knocks it all
and that's my prosthetic technician, the redoubtable Becca Smith, who is not only they're very skilled at sort of making the prosthetic look as good as possible, but also they're extremely good at making sure the actor inside it is looked after. And that's the 2 parts of their job, and they do a very sterling job at that. So they don't get enough credit for it.
But there's got to be, beyond that, there's got to be like pros and cons of getting into the makeup and the costume. Like, what are the best things about it? What are the worst things about it?
Well, I think it's instantly event when you come on set, because lots of people, they'll just be there for a day or something, or it's one of them stepping on there, and all of a sudden you're this presence, and people go, wow, or the first time they see it, they go, can he hear me? All the time I can't hear that well, but so like, does he speak? Extraordinary thing, and it does give you such a huge boost to your performance as well. When you look so different and you feel different, so doing it, because I'm very well served by the script, so I always get fun stuff to do. But getting into character such as it is, I go into the mirror first thing in the morning, I doze off in the chair, and then I wake up and there's straps in the mirror opposite me, and so there's this absolute sort of change of gears. Right, I'm here. and whatever.
Because being in production, I'm aware for prosthetics, you're brought in slightly earlier.
Yes.
And everybody else, since you're using sleep apnea, you spend more time in the makeup chair to opportune times than that. So I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I know. I've mastered the art of power napping to a fine degree now. I just sit there, have a little 5 minutes, and then sort of like awake again. So in between takes, it's funny because I'm in this rubber head, which is it's like having a pillow on your head. So it's cushions your hearing slightly. So actually just making normal conversation with people is sometimes a bit tricky, but also in between takes. Sometimes it's
I'm not saying between takes.
Yes, in between takes. You know, usually you're in a sort of like a area to the side of the set. You've got a couple of chairs or whatever, and then I'm usually sitting in a chair that's doing this because that makes things easier. But as I say, usually eating, I eat in front of a mirror because otherwise you can eat bits of the mask quite easily, and that's not very nice. And also, it just depends what you eat as well. So drink through a straw, and then if you are eating something, it's stuff that you can chop up easily and go like a baby. So it's very strange.
That's a YouTube video waiting to happen.
You don't want to see it. It's not a pretty sight.
All right, so you had done that, and then and it's weird. You're listed as having done like 3 David Tennant episodes.
Yeah.
The two-parter, of course, it brought the Centaurans back.
Yes.
And the end of time, but I think. When people are like, what's it like working with David Tennant? I think the interaction is actually quite...
It's on the end of a mallet, yeah, so it's not really... It's not much like
no, yes.
He knocked me out on the back of my neck.
So I'm not going to ask what's it like working with David Tennant or anything like that because it was so short, but I'm sure through the convention circuit and knowing at least.
It's very interesting because, especially on that episode, because it was the end of his tenure as Doctor.
Yeah.
He had just been doing Hamlet on stage. So you could see that he had a lot on his mind, and obviously he was as professional and personable as he always is. But I could see that he was a man who had a lot of things. So perfectly nice, but his time was his own, that sort of thing. And then I met him again at a convention a couple of years later when he wasn't sort of playing the Doctor, sort of 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And it was like meeting this sort of like different person. It's like, hello. You could just see this kind of sort of this slightly more relaxed persona, which I think. Because the Doctor, playing the Doctor, it was obviously an amazing job, but it's a job which has responsibilities like no other on television, because you're an ambassador for the series, you're an ambassador for 50 years worth of history, and the fact that he was a fan as well, I think he was very aware, he took those responsibilities very seriously. So I think now, having the chance just to enjoy it at a convention where there's some of the pressure of like being the Doctor every day on set, and it's like being a leading man as well. I mean, that's any TV series with a leading man. It's kind of your job as well to sort of welcome people on set, and you're an ambassador for whatever program it is. So, and then he took those things very seriously. So,
sure. And it just dawned on me that you were actually there for 2 Doctors' final episode.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
No, it's very lucky in that.
Like the Doctor, the 8-year-old Doctor Who fan, you go like, oh, my face is awesome. All right, moving on. You obviously then you brought the character of Strax back in A Good Man Goes to War.
Yes.
What was your first reaction when you auditioned, you got the part? I mean, was that a separate? They just
no. Yeah, because they've got a rubber suit that fits me and makeup. They had to do a full head cast of my head to actually sort of sculpt the Sontaran thing on there. So that's a considerable investment of time and effort. And also they liked what I was doing, so I didn't have to re-audition for that, so it's fine. But bearing in mind how small that part had been in, that cameo role with David's last episode.
Sure.
It's like, they want you back for the Sontarans. Okay, it's a character called Strax, fine. I didn't know if it was going to be one line or whatever, and usually what happens is they'll sort of book your availability, and then you'll only get the script something like the day before the read-through. Partially because it might not be ready, it might be tweaked. Also, because they're incredibly cloak and dagger about things. About it's got a false ending. So the script for A Good Man Goes to War had a different ending on there. So without the River Song reveal, it was just something else. I can't remember exactly what it was. But they're just absolutely paranoid about it. So leaks going out to the British tabloid press. They're a wonderful institution. They like to spoil things for everyone. So they're very careful about that. But then I got the script through the day before the read-through for A Good Man Goes to War. I thought, this is good, this is nice, it's a Sontaran character, but he's got fun stuff to do. I've got a nice sort of grand death scene, and when I first read that line, I can produce magnificent quantities of lactic fluid. Yes, this is different, and this one's going to follow me around, I think. It's going to be a memorable character, yeah.
But even the character is killed off. Now, so before you were brought back in the Snowman, and then of course the prequels that explained the resurrection. I have it on good authority that in between the time, you had written a letter to Doctor Who magazine. Would you like to share that with the audience?
It was just a funny thing because they'd done a sort of like an issue previewing A Good Man Goes to War, and there's interviews with Neil and Catherine and I and all the other guest stars. And so that went out, and then I just sent a private email to Tom Spilsbury, the editor of Dr. Who magazine, saying thank you very much for the complimentary copy, very nice to read it. Because I think I did the original interview over the phone when I was in the middle of, I think I was rehearsing another play, so I was in the corner of a rehearsal room, so going, yeah. So there's lots of things you get asked then, where it's like, you're esprit de scalier, you can't think about what to say. I sort of mentioned this email to Tom. Yeah, of course I realised what I should have said then. If I was going to be in Doctor Who again, I'd love to be Madame Vasquez's grumpy butler. And it's like have a sort of a tiny hat, a tiny top hat on top of an enormous head. And he sort of went, oh, that's great, do you mind if we publish this? Just because I'd love to do that as a photo mock-up. And then he did. And then, lo and behold, about 18 months later, oh, I'm Madame Vasquez's butler. So yes, I think Stephen does read Doctor Who magazine, so he might whether that was a conscious thing or he just saw that thing and forgot about it and then just brought it back again. Then yeah, it's yes, work begets work. And it's not an ask. Yeah.
So here we are, you're back, and you're reading the Snowman, and you're now back with Caitlin, and how was that? And being reunited with them, and like, this is really happening. We're all back together. Did you have any inkling that it would go further than that?
No. Well, the thing was that for that sort of series. Just because sometimes the change of communication from Cardiff were a little bit confused, we actually shot it out of sequence. So I thought I was just going to do one episode, which was the Crimson Horror. Then, when I got the script for the Crimson Horror, I went down to Cardiff. It's like, okay, we've already met Clara once before, and I seem to be alive. Is it right? Okay. And then so I went into the read-through, and both Stephen and Mark Gatiss was like going there, going, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he's alive. It's okay. But, right, okay, so he's all right, well, that's fine with it, let's go with it, we'll explain it at some point. And so it's the wonderful thing of, okay, right, so you do what it says in the script and you sort of make the best out of that. And then, I think, we filmed about 3/4 of the Crimson Horror, then we did the Christmas special, then we did sort of like a couple of pickups on the Crimson Horror, just because it's
shoot at the Victorian locations.
Yeah, they shoot, shoot them all together, and also, I think they write a script, they go, okay, that's looking okay in the assembly, they think, perhaps we need another little scene there just to make the storytelling more obvious. So there's always those sort of caveats as well. And then there was the name of the Doctor as well, which cropped up just towards the end of that year. So it was something, I was doing one episode, I'm in the Christmas special, and 2 other episodes too, so that was nice. being Dan
Didn't they kill you again in the name of the Doctor brought everyone back?
Yes, but that was a different time stream.
Sure.
It was a paradox, so.
Backstepping a bit to the Crimson Horror, we gotta ask, so Diana Rigg. Not a lot of interaction, but
yes.
Was there any, what was that like?
It was great, no, it's about the end of the time I was sort of been sort of slightly starstruck in terms of stuff like, let me feel. But I think also, because again, I only had one scene where I shot her.
You shoot her, yes.
Yes, so that was good, shooting on the field, that's nice. But yeah, that was another hilarious day, which thankfully doesn't happen very often, where just these part of the set in the mill, I think one of the doors had fallen off. So as a result, they had a real sort of like knock-on effect on the schedule of the day. So I got into prosthetics to start at 8. So I started at 5 o'clock in the morning, got into prosthetics. Then, okay, we don't need you yet at 8 o'clock. Okay, about 12 o'clock, still don't need you. Then so I go through, so I was dealing with all these technical problems. I've actually got on set at 5. And then I just did a line off, eventually, because they stopped filming early that day, because it was their sort of like half-term break. And so then I was quite... I wasn't full of the joys of spring entirely, it's fair to say, but so Diana Rigg was there as well, and she was very nice. And also there was a lot of haze in the atmosphere, and I was playing with my asthma a bit, so that was one of those thankfully few sort of very tough days. But yes, it's very strange actually sitting in the prosthetics room watching Eat, Pray, Love, which is not a great film, but just as on time going, what is this rubbish? With this Julia Roberts human, I will destroy him.
I would pay good money to actually running commentary and tracks through that whole film.
watching it on an iPad. Yeah. Very strange.
Great. So, Paternoster Game is firmly established at this point, and then you come to the name of the Doctor and the time of the Doctor, and then the 50th, of course, and Matt Smith is leaving the role now. Paternoster Gang is pretty much established along with the Matt Smith Doctor. So when sometimes as we spoke with Camille Bedore and Noel Clark here, like as Eccleston left the role that was
Yeah.
here, because
Yeah.
these characters are linked to that doctor, but
Yeah.
they might not